One thing I've noticed living in the suburb that I live in is it was a suburb of people maybe about 10 years older than me, all homeowners. So now that those people are all passing away bit by bit, I've noticed there's a huge surge of houses coming up, but not for sale, for rent or for lease. So I'm guessing the reason for that is people can no longer afford to actually buy a house around here. The average price is over $1 million. I've seen some houses here for $2 million. And trust me, this suburb is nothing special. It's not a upper class suburb or anything, it's just a regular suburb. So my landlord has put my rent up 3 times in the last 18 months, and I actually personally know them, so they're still finding a way to screw me because they can. And I looked up I know when they bought the house, and I know how much they bought it for, and I looked up the mortgage repayments, and I'm actually paying more rent than their mortgage repayments. So the deal is, yesterday they called me out of the blue and said that they want me out, so out of their house, their townhouse. So I'm assuming the reason for that is they're too embarrassed to ask for more rent, so they're going to kick me out and get someone else in to pay the rent. So I've noticed this all over the suburb here, and especially in the townhouse complex we're in. Lots of people, I know a neighbour who was a long time renter, just got kicked out of their townhouse, only to find out after he got kicked out they just put the place up for lease again. So they're removing people so the greedy landowners can just make more profit. So it's not enough that people pay their mortgage for them, they want them to pay extra so then they can go finance another property. So in this country you got a real division of wealth now, and it's getting worse. So you got the landowners who are getting wealthier and wealthier, and then you got renters who are actually can't afford a house and probably never will. So the owner wants me out, and the excuse they gave me was, you'll laugh when you hear this, is they wanted to simplify their life. And I sort of said, well, what are you trying to simplify? I'm paying your mortgage for you. I almost never call them for maintenance. Just a couple of things, like I think once we got some water damage, but that was all covered by insurance anyway. So nothing that I've done. So I suspect they're just embarrassed to keep asking for more money, so they're just going to kick me out and get someone new in who they can extort for the maximum amount of rent possible. So my dilemma is, moving is going, after I just spent all this bit of money on upgrading cars and all this sort of stuff, and I'm in the middle of selling all my stuff. I really don't want to move. I got crap everywhere that I'm trying to sell, and I've pulled everything apart, I'm trying to sell it. So I've been looking at the rent, and we can't afford to live in Brisbane anymore, so I'm actually going to, we decided we're going to move to the country. So my wife has checked with her mediocre job if that's okay, and they said for 3 or 4 days a week it's okay to work at home, but at least 1 day a week she'll have to actually come into the office. So I mean, that's okay. So it just means we can't go too far into the country. So I was thinking of maybe say Toowoomba or something like that. Toowoomba, if you didn't know, is the second largest city in Queensland, Brisbane being the largest by far. So Toowoomba is much, much smaller. I will call it a country town rather than a city. So rentals there are much cheaper. I know the climate's going to be far better than here, so that's our options at the moment. So this stuff is really, I find is really stressing me out. So it's sort of annoying because I'm very particular about, you know, keeping up my exercise regime and eating correctly, trying to keep myself healthy. But one thing I can't control is my stress levels, you know, caused by, you know, external factors. And no matter how healthy I am, the stress is just bringing my health down, because, you know, I really don't feel good lately. I'm getting a lot of migraines. Just yesterday I started getting something with my ear, so don't know what's going on there. And it's not just me, it's my wife as well. She's getting some problems. The other day I was talking to a lady in the dog park who was actually an ER surgeon, and they were telling me how the system here is pretty much screwed, and she's pretty much unemployable because at one stage I think she got overstressed from working the hours that she did, plus, you know, having to operate on emergencies, I guess, would be very stressful. So now there's a record of that. She's found it very hard to actually get any real work anymore. So all this BS is really affecting a lot of people. Good news is I've sold my laptops, I've sold my iPad, I've sold one of the desktops, I've got one desktop left and some monitors, and that's pretty much all the electronic junk gone. I'm going to sell my camera too, so I'm going to just start using my phone again. I made what was probably a bad decision, but it's too late now. I'm not going to stress about it. But my old Lexus, I had a lot of trouble trying to sell it because people have the stigma that cars with a certain amount of mileage here or a certain age are just problem cars. So they don't seem to understand that a Lexus is an entirely different breed of car. I mean, they last 20, 30 years, easy. I ended up getting another Lexus with just a small trade-in, so it's basically a swap, and I paid a little extra. So I got a hybrid, and the only reason I even considered it is it just had a new battery put in it. So hopefully I'll get quite a bit of use out of it still. So that'll come up in another video. So I feel a bit dumb because I've got the Toyota for sale now. So having purchased that with my super money, I need to sell it and put it all back again. And for all you people who don't know, there's some scams. I've seen some scams going around on YouTube where drivers overtake you and then they slam on the brakes, so you rear end them, and then they claim that you hit them for insurance purposes. And I sort of saw that, I thought, Jesus, how am I going to prove that it was me and not, you know, it was them and not me? You know, it's going to be really difficult to prove, because in this country, it's the person who was at the back is always at fault. So I went and got a dash cam just hours before I found out my lease was getting terminated. So I put it in the car now, but it's just for peace of mind. So all you people driving around, just take care that there's a lot of scams going around with cars. So even if I have to do one claim, it'll pay for itself many times over, you know, the price of the dash cam. So it's good protection, I think, and just ease of mind for me. Well, that's all for now. Catch you later.